hear you're ready for your dose of reality.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Quack Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Quack.
And you're way too loud this morning after last night.
Oh, I know I am.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. You know he's got this fascination lately with god-awful extremeness.
Extreme!
So after the god-awful thing, XPW baptized in blood, you tricked me into the office. Luckily, I was smart enough. We didn't get baptized in blood. We got baptized in rum before we watched December to Dismember 2006.
Yes, we continued our extreme path and... but I did tell him on the last episode, I said this was going to be better than XPW baptized in blood.
In defense of that statement, that is the center point for hell. Any step away from that is better.
Yeah, but I will tell you, this show was not as horrible. I mean, I've heard critics tell me this is the worst show that Vince McMahon did with the ECW brand. And there are worse.
I haven't seen any of them. This is a time I wasn't watching wrestling. I was wrestling, so most people that have been independent workers tend to not watch wrestling because we pick it apart and don't enjoy watching it. So I haven't seen any of the WWECW pay-per-views prior to last night. And I will say, looking at my reviews here, everything is in the 2-star range.
So we don't have a negative star classic.
And we don't have a Geico match clap of the night match either.
It's amazing. 6 matches on this card. Just want to tell you, it came from Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. And the crowd looked into it. It looked like it was a smaller venue. I don't remember the name of the venue. It wasn't a huge arena, but it was packed. Had about 10,000 in there. It was a good crowd. They were into it.
Yeah, they definitely loved it. On commentary, we had Joey Styles and Taz.
Joey Styles, I'm not a big fan of. I like his work until he gets excited and will drive me to drink. See the aforementioned bottle. He didn't do that this show. So whether it was Michael Cole got him under control or Joey Styles went, I know Vince McMahon is not a fan of the screaming, so I'm going to be contained. Joey Styles did a good job. Now, Curly from the Three Stooges over there, Taz.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it looked like it. I think it's, I want to do it. I think he was the most uninformed color commentary man I've ever heard. And he's been doing it, 3 years at this point?
Roughly, yes. He made Art Donovan look like gold.
Oh my God. I will be referring to him for the rest of this review as Curly. From the Three Stooges, Curly. They sound about the same, they look about the same, and they have about the same intelligence.
And of course, I'm going to run down a little bit here because we had our interviewer, which if you know her, you're doing a good job. Rebecca DePietro.
She did one match, if I remember right.
Yes.
She came out in her I'm going partying tonight looking for my next boyfriend dress. And she, 30 seconds later, was gone. So, good job. You gave us a TNA show as best as WWECW in the PG era could do.
Yes. And we had Justin Roberts being the ring announcer. We had Scott Armstrong as one of the referees, along with Mike Posey, Mickey Henson, and John Cone.
Scott Armstrong's good. Really, really good. He's the more talented of the Armstrong brothers. He's also the most forgotten. It's too bad. I wish him and Road Dogg could have switched places so we wouldn't have had to listen to, "Oh, you didn't know? I'm about to get pinned again."
All right, let's move on to the first match here. We're talking the Hardys. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy as Intercontinental Champion, by the way, taking on M&M.
Melina, Nitro, and Mercury. Johnny Nitro, Joey Mercury.
Yes, Drip was on this show.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. For those of you who've never heard of M&M, Johnny Nitro became John Morrison, who became the worst self-imposed name of all time. Why don't you just call yourself Johnny Chlamydia and get it over with? Anyway, M&M were a good team. I liked them. They were a little lacking on charisma, and Melina, who was Johnny Nitro's girlfriend at the time, was charisma until she opened her mouth. I gave it 2 3/4 stars. They started out with a simple, what they call a dummy spot. By the way, kayfabe word of the day, the dummy spot. It's a traditionally done spot, whether it's a singles or a tag team. All you have to say is dummy spot, and pretty much everybody knows what it is. In this case, the tag team dummy spot is the tie-up headlock takeover, switch headlock takeover, head scissors, push down trip, stare down. Simple. It's a dummy spot.
Yeah.
Kayfabe word of the day, the dummy spot.
Also known as the Universal Spot and the Southern Spot. There's many other names for that too, but yeah, basically the opening. I love the match. I thought it was a very good opening, good setting of the table. 2.5 stars for me.
Wow, I actually gave it a higher ranking?
You did. And I'm going to tell you there's a plus and a reason why the negative didn't go through 3/4. Because the plus was Melina's bump off the apron. That looked impressive. I was very happy to see that from a female manager.
Very nice.
The problem was Melina cackling in this match. Oh my God. Whatever.
Yeah, that scream, she did what Jimmy Hart does. He did what Alfonso does. When you are more noticed than your charges, you are doing it wrong. Melina, you were doing it wrong.
Yes.
You are and were and are a beautiful woman. That scream instantly made you ugly. The match, the only reason I gave it 2 3/4, I couldn't go 3, was the match went too long, and the change of pace was a really hard change from, it was a decent back and forth to a lot of really slow dragging in the middle. The ending was good, but there was a lot of dragging in the middle.
Yeah, so moving on here, we've got Balls Mahoney taking on Matt Striker in a Striker Rules match.
Yeah, don't ask me what the Strikers rules were. I don't care. It had to do with some inane things that...
No jumping off the top rope. No hair pulling. No cussing.
Yeah, and I think something about eye gouging.
Yeah, no eye gouging either.
So anyway, we got somebody who I really enjoyed the gimmick, his work rate. He needed a veteran to really hone it in on him. I think he would have done well if they put him in an extended program with somebody who could work better than Balls Mahoney. Matt Striker, though, he looked like the Mean Street Posse meets Dean Douglas. I hate to put it like that, but it's true.
They haven't used this gimmick before.
Yeah, no.
No.
Balls Mahoney went over with his ball-busting spine buster. 2 1/4 stars. It was okay. It was appropriately placed as the bathroom break match because a lot of people really didn't care, but it could have been a better match.
This would have gotten 2.5 from me, but this gets my 2-finger salute right now because it went from 2.5 to what I give it a 2 stars because of that damn cameraman always showing Striker's ass. He had a picture on his ass, on his trunks, and I'm just like, dude, we get it. It's funny, but I don't need to see this throughout half the match. Jesus, cameraman, WWE production on that, you get that 2-finger salute.
Yeah, I think I'm taking it down to 2 stars for the simple fact that his tights were so pulled up he looked like Rikishi.
It was bad. Don't watch this if you don't have to. Leave it to us.
Yeah, we suffer so you don't have to. The Dr. Quack Podcast.
That's right. And moving along, Elijah Burke and Sylvester Turkey taking on the FBI. That would be Little Guido and Tony Mamaluke with Trinity.
We'll start with the good part of this match. That was Trinity.
Yes, A+ on that.
Trinity is a stunt woman who decided to come into the wrestling world. She was there to kind of help train some women how to take some of the more extreme bumps. And they decided, well, you're really attractive, so let's put you out on the camera. And she went with it. And she did a great job being a manager, valet. Unfortunately, she didn't last terribly long. I know she went over to TNA for a little while, but she's back to doing movies and stunt work, so good on her.
Yes.
Tony Mamaluke, he didn't last long as Tony Marinara in WCW. He didn't last long as Tony Mamaluke in WWE, so I'm not going to waste spray on you. You like Matt Stryker, if somebody would have worked with you who actually had talent, you might have been something. Little Guido, you need to have a jobber to the stars, and that's him, so I'm not going to spray him either. Sylvester Turkey and Elijah Burke. Oh my God. Holy cow. Get off my screen. I did not need to see what Steven Seagal in a wrestling ring looked like. Elijah Burke, you were not talented. You followed the Taz path to become a commentary and play-by-play guy, and you don't do it well either. So you sucked. Sylvester Turkey, you went into a movie and you sucked even worse. You guys should have never been involved with wrestling. Stay off my television. Now let's talk about the match.
Yeah.
There's one positive point of why I gave this match 2 stars. Taz said, Sylvester Turkey looks like a man bear. Gang, we had man bear pig.
Oh my God.
That was awesome. We got a South Park reference from Taz. Good job on you there. 1 point for Taz. So Taz even doesn't get sprayed.
Yeah, I gave this 2 stars with you, and basically those 2 stars had to go to Trinity, man, because this match to me was about flat. It really just did not do anything well. I wish we could have seen Trinity more, but I'm glad she did go beyond. And I will say this, with 2006, this was towards the end of the Ruthless Aggression style era, where we went into the PG era, where we didn't have sexually clad women over here. We didn't have any kind of major violence. That's where the PG era started. Thank God this show was before that.
Yeah, well, we did have to deal with and listen to Taz doing his Jerry Lawler impression.
Yes.
The only difference between Taz and Jerry Lawler is Jerry Lawler has hair, he's 30 years older, and Taz doesn't say puppies. Other than that, they're both perverts.
That's right. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this before the match. Sabu gets attacked. Oh my God, they go backstage and they got EMTs and everything all over Sabu, and he is out.
Yeah, the genocidal, homicidal, suicidal Sabu can take just about anything in the ring, but you get the mysterious offstage attacker, and he is not strong at all. Rolled straight into the ambulance. Apparently, he's not as genocidal as he thought.
I think he did this because he was shortly after not on WWE television, ECW television. I think there was a dispute, and I believe that Sabu was pretty much cut after this. That is my explanation of why this happened.
Yeah, but I like the joke of he couldn't stand up to the offstage attacker.
Yeah, that's just insane.
That one gets everybody. Nobody is stronger than the offstage attacker. That should be the new world champion, the offstage attacker.
And moving along here, we had Daivari with the Great Khali taking on Tommy Dreamer.
The Great Khali. The funny thing about this is Daivari speaks Arabic. The great Kali from India speaks Hindu. They're not the same language. So it was funny for the average person that doesn't know that, but for somebody like me, it was stupid. At least Great Khali's appearance was short. They got him off my TV. That is an ugly dude. Get him off my TV. Daivari, Tommy Dreamer, it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. It really felt like this was the match coming out of an intermission. It didn't have to be great, but people started making their way back. I gave this one also 2 stars along with the previous match. I gave it 2 stars. This was really the disparity of WWE. ECW had a great opening. The finishes at the end we'll talk about were good, but there was nothing in the middle. There was no mid-card.
Yeah, I went about 2 1/4 on this. I mean, I liked how the referee ejected the Great Khali because he got involved in the match. The match was a 7-minute match. But Tommy, of course, made not only Daivari look good, even though Daivari got the victory on this, but he made the Great Khali look really good. Taking that bump on the stage, the choke bomb on the stage, and we're sitting here watching it initially, and we're like, did he get hit in the tailbone? Nope, he landed flat. So Khali actually took care of somebody. Mark that on your calendar.
Yes. He took care of somebody and not kissing them.
Yes. That's impressive. Yeah, it was a good potluck victory. I give it 2 1/4. But then we move on to the next segment here of Paul Heyman going in the locker room with Hardcore Holly.
You've already come out. We're not going to tell. I told them you're not spraying Taz. So deal with it.
I mean, of course, he gets now put in the Extreme Elimination Chamber match, the main event.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Hardcore Holly. I always dug the goofy, but he's taking it serious gimmick that he and Crash did before Crash's untimely passing. I enjoyed that. He stayed with it the rest of his time in WWF, and he brought something to the match. We'll get into that in a little bit.
That's right. I'm going to move on to my Quick Attack for the favorite match of mine tonight. I'm telling you, this was awesome. Ariel and Kevin Thorne against Kelly and Mike Knox. I love this match because of several reasons. I love the feud that Mike Knox and Kelly had. If you followed that story from back in the day, Mike Knox was playing the abusive boyfriend, basically controlling Kelly, almost like Macho Man-esque there. Kevin Thorne, he looked really good in this match, and so did Ariel. Ariel did an A+ job. I gave this match 3 stars. I thought this was a phenomenal match. Kelly, you were the weak link in this match, but you were supposed to be the weak link in this match. You did not do very good, and even had Scott Armstrong refereeing it, so that made it a definite solid 3 in my opinion.
Kelly, her work is so bad we had to see it again.
Yes!
Mike Knox is okay. I didn't see a lot of him. I did not like him as Nux in Aces and Eights, but Mike Knox, at least he showed he had something. Kevin Thorne is one of those guys that for some strange reason never caught on, and he should have. I think some of it has to do with some of the bad gimmicks he was put under. Mordecai, hello. Taz saying that Aria was doing a yogurt exercise. I have no clue what a yogurt exercise is. I don't want to know, apparently, either. The men's match was really good. The women's was not so good. Mike Knox at the end turned on Kelly and let her get pinned. So Ariel got the pin and got the victory here. I didn't dig it as much as you did. I felt it was... This match should have occurred on a show building up to a one-on-one pay-per-view match with Mike Knox versus CM Punk or Mike Knox versus Kevin Thorne. I don't think this match belonged on a pay-per-view, so I only went 2 1/4 stars.
I get it. I think this was one of the reasons why they went to the PG era, because if you look at this show and the women they had, the sexuality was there, the violence was there, and also the Sandman was there, because he came out after the match, after Kevin Thorne and Ariel won, the Sandman came out.
Salute to you, Sandman.
Yes. in his 6-minute intro there, because that's what he does in smashing beer cans to his head. He hit Kevin Thorne with the Singapore Cane, and that's about it. Yes, that is what Sandman was used for in the WWE ECW. You didn't see him work a whole lot of matches.
Well, that and he was almost a McMahon.
Yeah, he was,
because he forgot to go back when they said Extreme. He actually forgot he was supposed to go back.
Good God. I am moving along here because, we're moving on to Rebecca DePietro. We didn't get to talk about her much. This was her 30 seconds of fame. She was interviewing a brand new Bobby Lashley, who had just freshly come on the scene to ECW and was looking to claim the championship.
Yep, Bobby Lashley right there is proof positive why Brock Lesnar has Paul Heyman. Now White MVP and Bobby Lashley are a team. I don't know what it is with large, muscle-bound MMA fighters and their voices. To include Mike Tyson, who was a boxer, not an MMA. I understand this. But they get that muscular, and all of a sudden they have their 13-year-old women's voices come out. And they just don't sound strong.
Pretty much. Totally agree. Yeah, the interview was meh at best. But now let's move on to the main event, where we had the Extreme Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, the 4 weapons, each of the 4 pods had a weapon. A baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, which went to Big Slow. A table, I don't care about any of the others. It was funny watching Big Slow walk around with a toothpick in his hands that was wrapped in barbed wire. The rest of them I don't care. It was a crowbar, a table, a chair, and a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. Those were in the pods. So,
and you could tell that was real barbed wire because the Big Show pricked his finger on camera.
So he had to do a diabetes test.
Yes.
Anyway, so the 4 people that started out in the pods were the Big Show, CM Punk, Test, and Bobby Lashley. Which meant RVD and Hardcore Holly started this Elimination Chamber. I'm not a huge fan of the Elimination Chamber. I think the chain has the wrong look. I understand they were trying to be different than a cage. They could have come up with something better in my opinion, but this was the old one that did not have the covering on the outsides. The pods were smaller and they were a little more contained. So all in all, at least it isn't what it is now.
Yes, and we actually got something that we don't get nowadays. We got the juice! We got a little bit of blood in this! Made it look real!
RVD put the color on. I think that was a transfusion because he needed more THC.
Big Show put the color on.
Well, that's right, he did. Big Show did too, you're right. I apologize on that, but anyway, so we've got the first person eliminated. Excuse me, let me slow down. Too much alcohol last night trying to get through this show.
This is why we drink water.
RVD and Hardcore Holly started the match. Then coming out of the pods, CM Punk, Test, Bobby Lashley, and last was the Big Show, who was the champion, the ECW champion at the time as well. The first person pinned CM Punk by RVD. CM Punk was still new into the WWE. He put on a few moves, but he kind of was just filler on this one. Then Hardcore Holly got pinned by everyone's favorite testicle. Sorry.
We've covered him in previous episodes. Do we really need to cover him now?
Yeah, because RVD also got pinned by the testicle.
Oh, yeah. See, that just says it all.
Then Test got pinned, and it was so exciting I didn't even remember who did it. And then Bobby Lashley pinned the Big Show to win the title. It was okay. The match got better after Lashley came in. It was kind of, everybody was out there just knowing they were filling time until Bobby Lashley came out. Overall, it was okay. It wasn't the best match. It was decent. I wish I would have been drunker. I could have gave it 3 stars, but I only gave it 2 3/4.
Yeah, I went 3 stars with this only because it was the main event. It was not the best match on the card, in my opinion, but it was worth watching. It was about middle of the pack as far as Elimination Chambers go.
Yeah. But like I said, at least it looked more ominous. It didn't have the padding on the outside. It was the actual hardness.
At least nobody got burned on the entrance coming to the Elimination Chamber. Sorry, Undertaker. That guy sucked.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
But that is our show here. Thank you guys for tuning in to our extreme close-ups here.
I'm going to take my glasses off because I know I'll even get them out of the way here so I don't interfere with the shot.
Well,
because I'm going to look back, but I'm so blind I can't read it.
Well, you're going to be happy.
Okay.
Because we're done with the extremes.
Opinion rises.
Opinion rises. Our next show, we're going back to the old school days. We're going back to the AWA. I figured I'd put you through so much that we need to go back to a great show.
I am a huge AWA fan, despite the fact that Ron Trongard's voice annoyed the hell out of me. But AWA was great. So thank you for putting that on the run sheet, finally.
Yes, because we have to get to it here. We're going to talk about the good and the bad of the AWA.
That's right. There was some good. There was some bad. Unfortunately, they're also out of business. Thanks, Vince. Bok, bok.
There you go, folks. And I'm your host, Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem, saying I need to go get some aspirin. The hangover's killing me, but we'll see you on the next show.
And we're out.